Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is a reading video. I'll make another video before I change rooms, and I'll make some of the card draw readings. Like some of them I do full readings in my car, and then I'll come back to this room, and then I had to go back upstairs around um, the end of November because my godparents will be away. So I'll start playing the cards. I've been talking about my testnet, and I am just about, well, I have a couple more rounds to go, but I'm just about finished, and then I'll block it or wash it and um, form it, or to make sure when it's set the way that I want it to be. But it's 100% wool, so it's not something that you necessarily need to clean a lot. One of the main properties of untreated wool is that it's self-cleaning. But I want to do more socks because I can't find my socks. I found like one pair today, and I don't have many socks. I just have enough to be okay with the amount that I have. But I move my stuff around a lot, so I'm sure they'll pop up. There's this one main message that came up before I started filming, and it was that, say you were trying to bring something into your life, and it could be different things, and it could also be a person or um, an opportunity that you're looking to have. Um, but there were specific instances on when you tried it multiple times, and then it was almost as if you were the only one putting an effort into getting it, and either the other person wasn't trying or they weren't able to, or if you believe that the universe was like saying, like, girl, this isn't the path. And I'm not saying that just because it wasn't the path for you doesn't mean it wasn't the path, that it's not the path for somebody else. Because a specific instance is, there's one time I ordered a specific deck 3 times, and it wasn't from the same place. It was like a different place each time. And there was, each time something happened to that package, and it was like really specific too. And I just came to terms of not receiving the package, and then it was a deck, and then eventually the deck became it. it was, I suppose they started to produce it again because it was out of print for a couple of years. And the first time I ordered it, it got destroyed in the mail. Um, then there was one time where I tried ordering it and um, it was just the website or the person contacted me saying that they didn't actually have it available at the moment. And then the third time, what happened the third time? Because it was 3 times. I know I tried 3 different websites, and then the third time, I feel like it was just about a similar thing where it wasn't available, and then I got a refund for it. But for sure, it got destroyed in the mail the first time. And I was just curious because I tried to learn from like different things. Um, it can be really different religious things or different types of interpretations, like it symbology, um, like numerology, animal totems. There's like different ways to teach and learn things, and I try to see if I can learn from all sorts of things. And this time around, my guides were like, absolutely not. And again, if it's not the path for you, it could be the path for somebody else. But the deck was the Fallen Angels Tarot, or sorry, it was an Oracle deck. Technically, tarot is a form of oracle. So I was thinking maybe I would just see how it is, and then it didn't happen. I'm kind of I'm trying to remember what happened the third time because it was 3 times that I tried ordering this deck, and then I saw it in a bookstore a couple of months ago, and I didn't get it because I was just like, all these times I tried getting this deck and it just didn't happen. I don't want anything to happen when I try getting this deck, and I'll just be okay when something tells me that you don't need to delve more deeply into that. There's another instance where I went to like a Botanica and there was like the Santa Muerte candle. I bought the candle and I keep emphasizing if it's, I'm not saying it's not a path to take, it's just things that have happened to where I got the hint of what was happening. Um, that same day, it got smashed on the sidewalk and it was really specific. Um, and then these are just examples of things that can maybe be examples that you could get the idea of. And it goes against the grain with um, the past couple of messages. So it does feel like there's a shift. And it's almost feels a little mutable too, like the mutable zodiac signs. It tends to have more of a flexibility in that way. So, because the other readings I was mentioning, something that the universe keeps giving to you, and then so it kind of feels like it's going hand in hand where um, the universe is like giving you something that they are offering, and it's like a consistent thing where it keeps getting brought up again and again and again. And you can take it for what it is, because sometimes it can be an instigating thing and it depends on your situation. And then on the other hand, you might have been trying to go towards a different direction, and no matter how many times you kept going towards that direction, things were just like not um, going in that direction. So I was just thinking about like the first time when it got destroyed in the mail, and I was asking because I was thinking it's like a box and it has like cards, and so I was like asking the seller, can I just, is it okay to just get it in the condition that it's in? I don't mind it because it was an out of print deck at the time, and the person just gave me a refund, and it was, I feel like the person, I believe, was just notified by the postal service that it just it just got damaged. So that kind of reminds me about the uh, USPS, and it felt like it was the right thing to get um, my wheel, and then it took a long time. I went with USPS the first time since it was like the default carrier. And I'm not saying that USPS is like out for people. I'm just saying that it can be a process to get mail sometimes. And I've moved a lot over the past years. And most of the time I end up changing the my license to match the address and everything. But I feel like sometimes they're just like, because some of the previous packages that I got sent here, they got question marks on it, and um, it's like they're saying, I've been delivering to this residence for 15 years and I've never seen your name before. And you just gotta say, like, I swear I'm family. And then they just are like, prove it. Prove that you have a connection to this house. And then you just have to show like a bunch of documents and stuff and your ID, and then hopefully they give you your package or mail. Some stuff needs a signature that's not like in a box. So this just has been such an adamant energy with the Chariot card and these readings with Baba Yaga. If you know, you know. If you've been on this journey with me on doing these Ukrainian readings, because there's just such an adamant direction or thing where it's like, just do the readings. And I'm like, okay. Not like I don't want to. And even then, there's the Queen of Swords. And with this, it feels like there's a lot of clarity and full clear communication. I feel like it can also have to do with like compatibility. Like you can have a sensory of things, and hopefully you guys don't mind my stories of certain things in life. I feel like maybe, well, it's my video, and I feel like I I kind of use these videos and my channels as outlets on what I like to do and creativity. And some people are just like, "Oh, what's your YouTube?" And I'm like, mm-mm. And they're like, "Don't you want more subscribers?" I'm like, mm. I barely tag my stuff anyway. So it's like finding my channel randomly, and I don't know. So, like getting the hint. And I remember one time, like when I was working with one of my friends, well, I met her at this place, and um, she liked me because she's like, "You're actually here to work," and I'm like, "Thank you," because I feel like they say that about like Libra energy too. This card is also associated with Libra, that they have a tendency of liking um work or even purpose. I feel like it reminds me of like service dog energy too, that I just don't like. I like having a specific thing and a specific purpose. I feel like a lot of people have that too. But one day I was, kind of blindly going in and being like, hey, because I was up front for a while. And then I went to the back, and then there's like a back area where you prepare stuff. And I was like doing my normal type of greeting. And then she looked at me and she was crying. And I'm like, oh no, this is not the time to do this at all. And it turns out like one of the customers upset her. So I, I mean, that was kind of really kind of a broad example, but like if somebody's crying, obviously you're like getting the hint that something is going on with them. Not in a bad way, but like if something came up or happened. And I feel like there's also the incompatibility too, because I feel like it's kind of flipping from one side to another, because I feel like there's a specific energy of a direction of where to go, and then there's a specific energy of where it's not supposed to go. And um, if you've been watching these videos, you'll know that there's been times where I'll take care of my aunt who is also here. And since she's ill and there's other variables, but I didn't really continue the conversation. Sometimes I feel like I come off as cold or standoffish to family members. I overheard my godmother, and I was assuming, or I'm not sure who she was talking to, but um, I heard that she's shy, and I'm thinking it was kind of the impression of me because I wasn't saying anything. Because there was one conversation, and this is an older person. Um, there isn't technically a relation, but it's just to call her an aunt because of the specific or the technicalities of how I would be associated with her. It's just, I could just call her aunt. And so, um, I feel like she was joking, but at the same time, it was kind of being unaware. It's like if somebody was joking and they're the only ones that thought it was a joke, and then the other person was is just like kind of looking at them being like, um this is more insulting than a joke. I mean, sometimes when you're with your friends and you can gauge what that is and how deep you want to go into those jokes is up to you. But um, for this specific instance, there was some joking, and I feel like I'm okay with a lot of things. But she was, it kind of like started off with, oh, your mom forgot about you. And it kind of went from there. And then the conversation definitely went downhill from there. And I was kind of just thinking, well, of course she's sick, so physically, and I'm just going to wash my dishes. I just gave a blank expression. I was like, I don't know what you want me to, how do you want me to respond to this whole conversation? And I just went back downstairs and I do what I need to do, but I don't have much of emotions associated with it, I would say. I mean, I feel like I kind of have just, um, sometimes I express more, but I feel like majority of the time I don't express a lot. And so, I don't really say much. And when I was caregiving in general, a couple of years ago, you could definitely hear certain things, and um, you heard the thoughts or preferences of the type of people that the mainly elderly that I was a caregiver to, whether or not they approved of them or the religion or certain types of philosophies and political things. You definitely heard those things. So it wasn't that much of a surprise, but it tends to be one of the main jabs that if I were to get a jab, that would be the topic of discussion. So, um, but it's okay. And I'm just giving examples. And since this is my godmother's house, I am doing my part. I am grateful that I'm here. So, these are really solid cards from the Slavic Legends Tarot. You have the Magician and the Four of Wands. And just to go back to like, I know for compatibility, like I would send my friend certain things, like funny things that I knew that we thought were, or that we think are funny. And it's that sensory. For some reason, I'm getting like sensory overload. Not I that I am right now, but um, the words that I'm getting in my brain. So with the Magician and the Four of Wands, and then with the Queen of Swords, as I have shown, and the Chariot card, It's like striving for this life. And it can be a new life too, because although this is a four of wands, it's four is a foundational number. And then, so there's one through three, or ace, and two and three that are before the four, but they aren't necessarily indications of actually having that place or having that excitement or celebration or that foundation in life. Because just to say, Ace of Wands can be that spark that just starts everything, that encounter, that thing that really gives the impression that this is what I want to bring into my life. Two of Wands can be the planning card, and maybe thinking about a game plan because there might have to be some maneuvering or convincing or work or something that might be labor intensive to do. Then you have three. Three can be handing in that the action of handing in that application and waiting for those results. And then you have four finally getting that recognition. Recognition can be six too, like the Six of Wands, because it seems like people that peer it. It's like seeing from an external point of view on how people can perceive or react to certain things that you've done or another person has done. But the fours are seen as something that is sturdy and strong and can be like a workhorse card if you're thinking about it in that way. Something that seems like if you have a product, even though, like, say you have three different categories of the cheapest, the mid range, and the most expensive, and so maybe you want to eliminate quickly two out of the three, and um, you're also thinking about like maybe the budget and the quality, and if you're paying for the brand, and you go for the midpoint. So there's the King of Pentacles from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot as the present card, and the obstacle is the High Priestess. It really feels as if something kind of just, life just throws something at you, but it's like maybe you have like a ball that gets thrown at you and you just don't even react to it, and you either let it pass you or let it like hit you. But it seems like there's like direct contact to it where there's an awareness of this. So the High Priestess, the Chariot, and Magician are major arcana cards. So I feel like there is a heavy emphasis on major life changes. And as I turn this card over, my ears ringing with it. So you have the Counselor card, Archangel Azrael. You're a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. I'll try to read it slower because I was just butchering it the last video. But it seems like it kind of reminds me of like school counseling. Like you go to the office and maybe you're choosing your electives and maybe getting recommendations or advice or things to keep in mind, that if you take this elective, there's also this advanced course in for this area too, or what might be mandatory that year, what your interests are, and how you can collaborate with another person to see what would the best one would be. Also with counselor, another thing that was like coming up before I started filming was I was kind of like openly asking like the fairies, because I love fairies. I've loved fairies for most of my life, and I just felt such a closeness and bond with those types of beings. It sounds rude when I say those types, but I didn't mean it like that. Um, and I was thinking, like, why do you guys like me? And I sound like that person, like, oh, why do you like me? I was just that like curious because they've stuck around, and I feel like as I have gotten further into what I do, and I feel like their presence is like bolder, I would say, because a lot of times when I connect with certain beings, and specifically like different, if you were to say maybe deities or angels or fairies, and I, especially with, say, like the the archangels or the different types of angels, I would see them and they would be larger, like they can't even fit in the room, like their energy and like the image that I'm getting into them is just like they surpass the ceiling. And like a large form and like a giant respectively. And but just in terms of like being a human and then them being another type of being. And so when I see the fairies now, it seems like they're more open, or they're more showing about like the true nature or how they are and appear. And um, it's it's definitely fun. And I did get, because some of them are larger, and they do say the fairies walk among us, and then their world is adjacent to our world, so they kind of like intertwine anyway. And some of them were taller than me, and it was almost giving the impression of guardian, like we're still here and we're still looking out for you type of energy, which is also nice. And it's always been pleasant like that. So as I say that, I have teaching and learning, Archangel Zadkiel, keep an open mind and new ideas, then teach these ideas to others. So this goes with the message of, if you're fighting something, it might be telling you that maybe this isn't how you're supposed to do it, or you might want to try a different way. But this is the other card after I mentioned about protection. You are safe, Archangel Michael. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and home. Then the present for the Angel Tarot is the Knight of Water. So the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Water are present cards. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions and invitation to a social event. I really feel like this goes with the Four of Wands too. And I feel like the King of Pentacles will have a hand with preparations. The obstacle is the High Priestess and Nine of Water. Your wishes come true, concerns fade away, a love of life. There's knowing what's necessary. I feel that it goes with the High Priestess, and I'm getting the words like the ends don't justify the means. And it was also getting like the teaching and learning card where there's like an expansion of new ways or things to do. Because it looks like if you have a checklist of things and there isn't this one thing that's added to your checklist, so there can be, you might have an awareness just because of the major push and pull. And I was getting like intense type of energy for the last couple of readings too. And it's not that surprising, especially in this area of the world, because of what has been going on the past couple of days. And it's definitely one of those things like after an election where it hasn't really happened as much. I wouldn't say that I know every reaction to elections, but um, there's just been a lot of extremes with that, with people either being super happy about the results, and then the other side were devastated. And it's like clear reactions from both sides. And so with the obstacle, it feels like there's going to be a different approach or different way, or um, there's a type of mechanism that isn't being utilized at this time. It looks like there's like dust on it and it needs to be revisited. And it can be forced in a way because maybe it there feels like an avoiding energy. And is it avoiding the work or avoiding what may lie ahead? Is it the reaction of you or another person or people? Um, how will they react to the actions or the things that are going to take place? There feels like a little bit of a whirlwind of intensity, but the chariot card is clearly here, and there's a sense of, well, the word that I was getting is threat, but it just came up randomly. But there's like a wildness and boldness that goes with this chariot card. It's like um, it's not really going. It's not like holding back that type of energy. It's kind of like driving on the Audubon type of energy, and there's it feels like a reaction or direction where there might be little to no resistance and it might go full speed, and it if it's not little resistance, it's going to be a lot of quick fast or fast paced things that might come up to you, and you'll have to figure out the ropes of it immediately. So how to overcome the obstacle: you have the Six of Earth with the Six of Water, so both sixes, and that doesn't need to be a bad number. It's up to you. But the Six of Cups and the Six of Pentacles, memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past, and then gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debts. The word that I'm also getting is like exercise. It's as if you're putting out like a sample or trying something out and not wanting to waste resources in case you have to keep practicing it. It's kind of like a little at a time, and it might be sensory overload with the Six of Cups if you keep rehashing the past, especially if it's not your past or if it's combined with somebody else's past. Like if you guys like have some history together and both of you guys have to like kind of go down memory lane to see. And it's interesting because it is in a way, it is seeing it from other perspectives or another person's point of view. So some of it might be, I wouldn't say distorted, but it might be different from your story because it's coming from another person's view of it. And it's also how they might have remembered it, and maybe they remember other details that maybe you didn't see as you didn't remember as much as other things that they didn't bring up. So then you have the Queen of Swords again with the Justice card, and these cards are both Libra, but you don't have to read signs. And the word that I'm getting is like words that I'm getting are what's due. Say you already know what's coming up, like if you have a payment plan for something and you know November 20th is like when you're going to have to pay for this thing. That seems like a small example. Um, Justice is a major arcana card, so I feel like it's going to be on the grander scale. I feel like it's also effort that you put in because the magician is here too. And the magician, it's almost as if you're bringing out the quality things, the best resources. But I feel like that'll be after the trial and error of things because it feels like there's a little experimentation, and you do see that with this Queen of Swords card specifically, and you see it kind of in the Magician card because it looks like the Magician might be looking over a letter or like a paper that says directions and um, maybe seeing what the terms are, like what the agreement is, and seeing what it needs to abide by. So basically, all the things that kind of go together, and maybe saying it in different ways too. And with justice, it kind of looks like court too, where um, I'm not getting like specifically going to court, but it could be certain matters that have to do with different organizations, if you will. And it could be more serious in terms of relationships. But it seems like there's a more serious tone and a need to make sure that you maybe keep certain documents or keep certain information in mind because you might have to bring it up again. It could be mental notes, but you might want to write it down. That could be like the magician energy too. and that could help with, if you want to say, manifestation. And it seems like there's like a scroll here, or a couple of scrolls in this card. It can be uncovering things too. So if you go to a library and you see like the archives, and there might be discovering things. So there might be like research. This could be researching like specific history, and it could be linking to, I feel like it could be linking to a person too. And hopefully it's not like in a creepy way, but um like if you go to a library and you see the history of like maybe a house or something, it's almost like finding out information. And other people, like if it has to do with an institution like looking at you, they might be researching you. Because I've had some jobs and they were like, we saw your social media, and I'm like, that's wild. I don't even know. I just kind of put stuff out there because I'm thinking, well, I can't hide my personality. I'm not one to really hold back from those things. So I am who I am, and I don't think you'll be that surprised unless it might take a while for me to openly talk. So, with the Justice card and the Queen of Swords, you have Divine Order. Archangel Rahul, everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. So, it might be like a chance of maybe you don't see why something has happened, but there might be certain revelations that come up in the future. You also have chakra clearing, Archangel Metatron, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. And when it talks about math related things, it seems like there's like an equation too. Like I said, there might be um that 100-year-old question that has yet to be solved, or that something that is maybe put to light, and I was also getting put to the test too. So if it might be like keeping a clean or reputation, or however you want your reputation to be like, if you don't mind it being a certain way, of course, or um but there's also keeping in mind of, I'm getting the out, um like I was talking about the Six of Wands earlier on the outside perspective. So there can be external energy like that, and there might be some critique. So I feel like, especially when, I mean, this is just another outsider's perspective too, but like if you're raising somebody or teaching somebody, I feel like there's a way that a person can be receptive to if a person tells them what they could do, in terms of like if they're doing something one way when it would be better to do it in another way. Um, and also with the balance of it, that gives some light or shine to the person or situation too. Because if you're constantly critiquing them and then it doesn't get balanced out with affection, if it's whatever situation you're in, or um, like if it's a relationship, then there can be tension or something can build up to where it's not headed in a direction that can be lasting. So you have passion, Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career, in creative writing. Archangel Gabriel, take time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen, an article or book. I feel like this goes with the Magician card and brainstorming. And with the passion, it's almost as if feeling the soul that you have and expression with the creative writing. So the future is Five of Wands and the Judgment card. So renewal, Archangel Jeremiel, review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. I feel like it goes with justice a lot. Take time to move in a new direction. So it really kind of cements, or not really kind of, but with there's more than a nudge I'm getting, and the Judgment is Major Arcana 2 with the Justice. Because the Five of Wands can be a halting energy. It's an energy that doesn't move smoothly. A lot of the fives you don't really see move smoothly because you're getting out of the fours. So it can be inconsistent, it can be uncomfortable. It's something that sometimes you don't really want to do. It's this one. This one is in a cold setting. You usually see like the Five of Pentacles in a cold setting. But the words that I'm getting is like you're in this together, so there can be an association with somebody else. I wouldn't be surprised. And the Knight of Cups comes up in here too. The Knight of Cups is um more of like an affection or a boyfriend or a girlfriend type of energy too. And if you're not dating or with anybody, it feels like it can be associated with like a situation that you hold dearly. So the past is the Eight of Wands with the Ten of Pentacles. It might be difficult for some to get out of that Ten of Pentacles because of how comfortable the Ten of Pentacles can be. Because the Ten of Pentacles feels like it's energy of we've been here for generations and now you're just telling us that this isn't what it is anymore. Or if it is what it is, um, it's almost like changing what we've done for X amount of years when it's tradition at this point. So is that Five of Pentacles and the Judgment card creating that could be another way of looking at it instead of like breaking traditions, creating new traditions. Because I can definitely see if people aren't going to approve of that type of energy. But the Judgment card definitely feels like if you've been going on this whole journey and you have with the Fool's journey of the Major Arcana and the Judgment is part of the Major Arcana, Um, it's all like those struggles and the hopes and the happiness. It's all of those emotions and things that you've done and that has happened. It's all of those feelings. And then it comes down to certain moments in life. The judgment card definitely feels like a specific day, specific moment, year, time. It's something that is, sorry, that's memorable in that way. It's one of those unforgettable type of moments that the card, like the judgment card, depicts. And with the justice energy, it's almost like how you mold yourself or how you molded the situation, how much TLC or tender love and care that you put in, or did you retract from it? As I said, with the extremes of constantly critiquing and not giving the affection that's put in there, it can definitely be seen as something else if that was trying to be helpful, but instead it turned into other types of feelings that weren't reciprocated. So the past is also the Queen of Water, the Queen of Cups. Tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition, care for yourself and others. Now this kind of looks like the bottom of the ocean, but at the same time it looks like it's where the ocean meets the sky because the angel is there. And it seems like a dreamlike type of state, or if you've seen that type of scene where in shows like they have like the holes in the sky and everything is happening and it's so intense because it's coming down to doing certain things in order for it to not end in a catastrophe. I know with especially like the elections, and I'm not turning this into a political thing, but well, for the channel specifically, well, I don't know. Is this what it is? But it was like saying, I'm gonna come after the people that have tried to do stuff to me. I forget exactly what it was, but it did sound like a familiar tone of that type of leadership. And so I'm not worried about that for myself, but I feel like there's specific paths that we take. And if I'm getting like with the judgment card, it's something that if you choose this path, it's you've obviously followed through with it in some way because you've gone through full being 0 and 1 through 19 and then you're to 20. So there was a sense of consistency and there's like the capacity of the things that you had to endure and do, withstand, in some cases, to create new traditions. And there feels like there's a resolution to this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this is helpful. I hope this uploads in an okay time because the last video, I feel like it's just some days where maybe it's the weather and it just like was not uploading. So I'm hoping this will be a smoother process. But I'll see you guys. Bye.